30 YouTube channels, one video, all answering the question, who will win the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches in 2024. As I say, 30 channels are involved here giving their predictions in one place. So let's have a bit of fun. Let's do a Royal Rumble match. Every channel will be drawn at random, giving their selections, and at the end of this video we'll count all the votes together and we'll see who is the selected choice to win the men's and women's Royal Rumble match. Of course though, I'll keep you up to date at intervals of the video to see how things are going, and don't forget the link to every channel is in the description of this video, so make sure to support these channels by giving them a subscribe and checking out their fantastic content. A big thank you to everyone that got involved. Without you, this video would not be possible. So without further ado, let's get straight into it, shall we? Then we've got 30 channels to get through, including yours truly. Let's find out who drew number 1.
What is going on, SCW? My predictions for the Royal Rumble. We'll start off with the men's, and I think it's got to be CM Punk this year. I mean, CM Punk, he's got all the buzz going for him. He's never main evented WrestleMania, and I mean, he wins this. He's already got right there that ready-made feud with Seth Rollins, so I think that would be a fantastic match. I think it would get everyone excited. CM Punk, my pick for the men's Rumble. And on the women's side of thing, I'm going to go with Bayley. Now, the reason I think this is it's going to come down to maybe her needing to eliminate Asuka and Kairi, which is going to cause friction in Damage Control. Of course, that's been the story ongoing for a number of months now. This is going to end with Bayley leaving Damage Control and then beating Io at WrestleMania. Maybe even returning as the hugger. Of course, Damage Control, the heels. Bayley might return as a face. And let's not forget as well, another reason I think Bayley, she got cheated out of her big moment at WrestleMania 37. So I think she's long overdue that big WrestleMania moment. So yeah, Bayley, my pick for the Women's Rumble.
A massive thank you to WrestleMania there with his selections there. CM Punk and Bayley to win the Royal Rumble matches this year. Will they be the winners at the end of this video, or will other superstars take that spot? Time will tell as we go straight into number 2. Some will call this guy a top lad and some will call him a top mark. For me, he's Charlie from Hammer's Chat. Come on you irons, what are your Royal Rumble picks?
First of all, I want to give a shout out to Steve, SCW, subscribe down below, hit that like button, it helps out massively. Thank you very much for having me on. But I wish this was last year because I could see it last year. I knew what was happening. I reckon I could have predicted last year pretty comfortably. However, this year, it feels like it could go in so many different directions that I'm struggling to really put it 2 and 2 together in my head. Get there, do you know what I mean? I keep changing on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to say, for the men, I've just changed my mind again. No, I'm sticking to it. I'm going to stick with this and I'm going to stick with it relentlessly, and I'm not going to change my mind because this is on SCW and it's important. CM Punk's going to win for the men. I'm confident with that. It's going to be him versus Seth. It makes sense. It's been set up since the moment he came back into the company. It kind of is a vibe. It's a big Mania match. That makes sense. And then on the women's side, it's going to be Becky. It's going to be Becky. She's going to have a big match. It's going to be sick because it's going to be against Rhea. I'm really excited to see it. I'm excited for Mania this year. I'm excited to watch it, and I'm excited to watch the review and all of the content surrounding it on SCW. Subscribe, like the video. Thanks. Cheers.
Big thank you there to Charlie from Hammer's Chat there for the kind words and for your Royal Rumble picks. He's got 3 channels on YouTube and the links to all of them are in the descriptions below. Make sure to subscribe to him and to every other channel that is partaking in this video. But you're going to take a break from hearing my voice now as we go into the field and get a few Royal Rumble predictions. The next time you see my face, I'll give you the first set of standings. So without further ado, let's get back into it and see who drew entry number 3.
Hello everybody, I am Matt.
Rhodesia.
Ishan.
And we are here from the TFW podcast to give our predictions of who's going to win the men and women's Royal Rumble. For the women's Royal Rumble, I am going with the man, Becky Lynch.
Nice. I'm going with Bayley.
I'm going with Bianca Belair.
Love it. For the men's, this one's a hard one, right? You keep going back, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes. I'm going to flip the coin. I'm going to go CM Punk. I have CM Punk coming back. and winning the Royal Rumble.
Nice. I have Cody Rhodes finishing like the chapter of this chapter to finish the story at WrestleMania.
I love that, Rhodesia. I have my readers on right now because I am starting to finish this story along with Cody Rhodes. I am going with Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble and getting to Mania to win the championship.
I got a feeling some of us are going to be right. Of course, one of us got to be right. It can't be anybody else, right? Right? Guess we'll see.
Thanks for asking me to do this, Steve, so I'm just going to keep this short and simple. The men's Royal Rumble winner that I would like to see personally, I think it will be CM Punk to set up him and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, which is understandable, but who I would like to see is LA Knight get the win there. I think that would be a fantastic match, and also if you think about it, if you do Rollins and Punk at Royal Rumble, gives people getting that kind of feud on the start. Have Punk get the belt, have LA Knight versus Punk at Mania. It would be a pretty cool match. And then for the women's one, I would love to see somebody return like Sasha Banks come back and win it, but I think it's probably going to be Bayley. But for my pick, I'm just going to say there's going to be a huge return. Sasha Banks come back and she wins.
What's the word, y'all? This is Cinco live and direct from Another Roast Podcast. On behalf of Another Roast Podcast, we want to give a big shout out to our guy, Steve at SCW Wrestling Channel. Yes, go check him out. Go subscribe to the channel and everything. But real quick, we're going to tap in with y'all to give y'all who we think is our Royal Rumble prediction for 2024. So for the men's side, it's kind of tricky. The field is wide open, but hey, I'm going to go ahead and go with Drew McIntyre so he can get his actual moment in front of a crowd and get that title back. I know he has a couple title shots in the past lately, but I feel like this may be his time to go get that belt. So, men's side, we're going Drew McIntyre. For the women, we're going with Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill, she's going to make her WWE debut at Royal Rumble, go through the whole field, and win the Women's Royal Rumble and challenge whoever she wants for the title. Thank you. Sign out. This is Another Roast Podcast. Cinco.
This year's Royal Rumble is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable shows to date, but I think I finally narrowed down my picks for both the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches. We're going to start off with the women's match first. I firmly believe that Bayley has it this year. We've seen the seeds being planted within Damage Control for the past couple months now, and there's no better way to finish that specific story than by going to WrestleMania, defeating her former friend for the Women's Championship on the grandest stage of them all. Now, the men's match is a little bit more difficult. You have CM Punk returning, you have Cody Rhodes trying to become a back-to-back winner, and honestly, I don't think either of them are going to do it. I think Gunther's taking it this year. I know he's a current Intercontinental Champion, but he can always lose it. He may even lose it that specific night at the Rumble, show up later like we've seen people do in the past, and win the entire thing. So, those are my picks. I would love to hear your guys.
Massive thank you there to Carmine Rocco, to Cinco from Another Robbers Podcast, Barry from the NWC Show, who's back on YouTube doing his rants once again, and That's Freaking Wrestling, a terrific trio who've just celebrated doing 100 episodes on their channel. Well, we've had 6 entries so far, so let's see how the standings are looking at this early stage of the video. As we can see for the Women's Royal Rumble, Bayley taking an early lead with 3 votes, Becky Lynch just behind her with 2 votes, and in third place with 1 vote each we've got Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and a possible returning Sasha Banks. For the men's side, CM Punk takes an early lead with 3 votes. Second place just behind him, of course, is the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes with 2 votes, and drawing with 1 vote each in third place is Drew McIntyre, Gunther, and LA Knight. So that's how things stand at present. Plenty of time for everything to change. Let's get back in and get some more predictions, shall we? And we've got 2 channels for the price of 1 coming up. That's right here at entries number 7 and 8 here on SC Dub.
Thank you, Steve, for letting us be a part of this again. I am Oled Ed Fries, and I'm joined by the one and only Ashley Bizarro. And we are the co-hosts of Taking Over. We talk NXT every Tuesday night. But we're not here to talk about NXT. We're here to talk about the main roster. We're here to talk about the Royal Rumble. And this little lady's going to be there live. She's very excited about it. Ashley, who do you think is going to win the men and women's Royal Rumble in 2024?
I feel like I'm stuck, but in a good way. But I'll definitely say for the guys, I definitely want him to finish his story. So I definitely want Cody to win it. I want him to get that crowning moment because I feel like that's something that I missed from WrestleMania last year. And from the girls, I'm picking Bayley. I feel like it will be her time to get that shine. And I think it'll be some kind of friction. I'd like to see her and Io kind of go at it against each other and decide to just let's see who reigns supreme at the end. And I think that Bayley will do great with Io as well, going against her.
You know what? I'm gonna do something different. I know this video is about everybody picking who's gonna win the Rumble. You know what? I don't want CM Punk to win the Rumble. I don't want Cody to finish his story. I don't want to talk about The Rock. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pick a guy who I want to win the Rumble who's not gonna win the Rumble. I want Gunther to win the 2024 Rumble. I think that would be absolutely fantastic for him to win that Rumble match. He isn't going to do it, but that's fine. That's what I want. And for the women, it's got to be Bayley. Bayley going ahead and being able to finalize this story, doing a Batista Triple H thing with Io and Damage Control, trying to convince her to go after Rhea Ripley, and she just decides to turn her back finally on Damage Control, turn her back on the thing that she created, and go after Io Sky. Maybe with a friend or two by her side. Maybe Trinity? Maybe Mercedes? Who knows? The potential's out there for both of them to potentially be there. That's what I think. You can go ahead and, like I said, you can find us every Tuesday night on our local establishments. We talk all things NXT. Thank you, Steve. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Hello one and all, Carl here from the A to the K Wrestling Show with my Royal Rumble 2024 predictions. For the men's side of things, I think it's going to come down to Cody or CM Punk. It's a tough one. Do I think Cody's going to win it back to back? Maybe not, because that would be too easy and he just needs to keep trying to finish the story. So I'm going to go CM Punk, but I do think Cody and Roman will still face off. As for the ladies' side, bit of a wild one, Jade Cargill. I want to see it. I want to see Jade Cargill come in, ruin everybody, and set herself up for Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania.
Hey everybody, I'm Katrina from NCAP Trust, and I am giving you my Royal Rumble predictions. And so everybody know the Royal Rumble is one of the biggest pay-per-views of WWE, pretty much starts the wave and the road to WrestleMania. And so for the women, there are a couple of names that are in my head that I can see, but I am going to go with Jade. I do think AJ Lee, if she returns, it'll be a perfect way to bring her back into the fold of WWE, even if it's just for a one-time thing. I don't really see AJ Lee necessarily winning the Rumble, but I can see Jade winning it just simply for the fact that she hasn't really done any major appearances as of yet. She's been here and there, and if you really want to really start her career in WWE on a good trajectory, the Royal Rumble is probably the perfect place to do it. So I'm going to go with Jade. As for the men, this can go a couple of ways as well, but I'm thinking that it'll be Gunther. Last year's 2023 Royal Rumble, he was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And I think this is the perfect way to really pull the trigger on seeing what he can do with a main title, as he did say he wanted that. And so I am going with Gunther. Could I make the argument for CM Punk? Of course, his last WWE, I believe, was a Royal Rumble, so that makes it, makes sense. And also, it'll also really cement the feud. It seems to be happening with Seth Rollins, who don't particularly like CM Punk, and there was a lot of words between both of them. And so I'm, even with that argument, I don't know if he necessarily needs the Rumble to win it, but it'll be a nice way to set him up for WrestleMania. So I'm going to kind of cheat here, and I'm going between Gunther and CM Punk for my choices. Thank you, as always, Steve, for including me, and hopefully everybody will really appreciate and love the Rumble this year. Bye, guys.
What is going on, everyone? It is Kyle, aka Mr. OTM from the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, And Steve graciously has once again invited me onto the channel to give my 2024 Royal Rumble predictions for the men's and the women's Royal Rumble. The men's, it's pretty simple to me as of right now. I think it's between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. Both men want to finish their story, but for me, it makes the most sense for CM Punk to lose the Royal Rumble. He's already on Raw with Seth Rollins. If he wants to get that title match, I'm sure there are other ways that he can win, or earn, I should say, a title opportunity. So I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes to repeat. I know he won it last year, but with Roman on SmackDown and Cody on Monday Night Raw, I think it makes a lot of sense for Cody to finish his story, and it starts at the Royal Rumble once again in 2024. Now, on the women's side of things, Jade Cargill is an interesting wild card. I don't have the confidence to pick her. Rhea Ripley would be a good option, but she's champion. Bianca Belair is always a threat. Charlotte Flair, depending on her injury status. But I'm going to go with Bayley. I think the story they're currently telling with Damage Control is foreshadowing what could be happening here in the next couple weeks. So it makes a lot of sense for Bayley to win the Royal Rumble. She's never won the Royal Rumble. I know Becky Lynch and Charlotte have. I do not believe Sasha Banks has. So let's get 3 of the 4 horsewomen on the board with a Rumble win. I'm going with Bayley to win the women's Royal Rumble match.
Oh, hey there. It's me, Happy Ian from the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, and I am proud to be invited by the SCW Wrestling Channel to give my own Royal Rumble predictions. First off, for the male Royal Rumble, I've got to go with Cody Rhodes. He was my day one guy. I figured he was going to win this thing. You have guys like CM Punk still waiting down there. Maybe could win it. I don't know. But I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes. He's still my WrestleMania 40 main event. Gonna finish his story against Roman Reigns. For the female Royal Rumble, I've got to go with Bayley. Bayley has kind of got this side of her. Maybe she's bringing back the babyface Bayley, the one we all knew and loved. Still, again, this is before Sasha Banks chose her company. Maybe it could be AEW, maybe it could be WWE. If it's WWE, let's bring back the tag team that we all knew and loved. Thank you so much, Steve, and I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of the show.
Massive thank you there to Ian and to Kyle, 2/3 of On the Mark Wrestling Podcast and the originators of the Main Event Wrestling Network, a host network of content creators all in one station. Big thank you as well to In Cat We Trust, of course, one half of the Meta 2, of course, for bodyslam.net. Katrina, thank you so much for your picks. A massive shout out as well to A to the K Wrestling Show, and a big thank you as well to Ed Fries and Astrid Prazzaro, of course, Astrid with her own channel, including her interviews, Astrid Asks, and of course we've got Ed Fries from our local establishment talking NXT. Those two take over every Tuesday night. Big thank you for their Royal Rumble picks, but without further ado, let's see what's done to the scorecard. There's certainly been one big change in the men's Royal Rumble. As you can see at the top spot right now, Cody Rhodes is topping things. He's toppled CM Punk. He's got 5 votes at present. CM Punk has fallen to second place with 4 votes. Gunther has moved up to third place with 3 votes. And of course, we've got Drew McIntyre and LA Knight with 1 vote each. On the women's side, Bayley remains in the lead, and she's taken quite a lead as well with 7 votes at present. Jade Cargill has moved up to second place with 3 votes. Becky Lynch sitting in third place with 2 votes. Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks sitting in fourth place with 1 vote. 12 YouTube channels down, 18 still to go, so plenty of time for things to change here in this predictions video. Without further ado, let's go into lucky entry number 13.
What's up, people? It's your boy Mex, the WrestleManiac, and it's great to be back on Steve's channel, and we are talking Royal Rumble picks. So far out from Royal Rumble, so forgive me if these are way off, but I'm gonna jump straight in with CM Punk. Listen, CM Punk is gonna win the men's Royal Rumble. It is lined up. This is the only thing that takes him to the main event of WrestleMania, which is how he's going to finish his story. So CM Punk is going to win the men's Royal Rumble match. Seth Rollins will probably be waiting for him in that main event. That is CM Punk, finishing his story. He may not win the title, but that's how he gets there. The women's Royal Rumble, it is Bayley. I am picking Bayley. Bayley versus Io Sky for that championship is phenomenal. It's a great story. It's the way that Bayley's going to fall out of Damage Control. and the way that Bayley is going to get, I guess, the last big accolade, which she hasn't won, the Royal Rumble. So she deserves it. This story's been really, really fun, even though at times we didn't think it would be this good. And yeah, Bayley, Io Sky for the WWE Women's Championship. I think that's the play right there.
Let's start off with the Men's Royal Rumble. My prediction is CM Punk. I believe he's going to do something he hasn't done before in WWE, and that's a main event a WrestleMania. That is why he is back, and to get there, well, he could win a match that he's never won previously, the Royal Rumble. It seems to make a lot of sense in my book. I believe Cody will get his path to WrestleMania through the Elimination Chamber. As for the Women's Royal Rumble, I am going to go for Jade Cargill. Now, I did previously on this channel say Bayley for a number of months. However, Bayley has made the call and says if she wins the Royal Rumble, she will challenge Rhea Ripley. I don't see that as the destination for WrestleMania. I believe Rhea will be facing Becky Lynch. So I think we could get something we've not seen in quite a while. In WWE history, we could see a championship change hands, the PLE before WrestleMania. I can see the split of Damage Control. I can see Io Sky dropping her title to Bianca Belair, and I think Jade Cargill, who wins the Rumble, will make a challenge to Bianca Belair for WrestleMania. That way we can still have the breakup of Damage Control because everything has fallen apart around them, and we can still get Bayley versus Io Sky. Without further ado, I'm going to pass it over then to the one, the only, Mr. NX Steve.
The Men's Royal Rumble winner this year, as it currently presents itself, I think is going to be CM Punk. I think that the Seth match is just there and it's just waiting to be done. So for me, it has to be CM Punk winning the Rumble, and he challenges Seth, and we get Seth versus CM Punk Night 1 WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship. As for the female winner, this is probably the harder one. I'm going to go on a limb just because we haven't seen her debut yet, and I really want her to do something impactful. I'm going to say Jade Cargill wins, and we get Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, because what a way to introduce yourself for someone who's been with the company 3 months and not done diddly squat. Have her come out as number 30 of the Rumble, do minimal amount of effort, win the Rumble, go on to Mania. Don't even have a wrestle between Mania and between Rumble and Mania, and her first match is a match at WrestleMania for a World Heavyweight title. She beats Rhea Ripley. She becomes a world champion in her first ever match in WWE.
Hey Steve, it's BC from Wrestling with the 80s, wishing you and all your subscribers a very happy new year. Thanks for inviting me to participate in this video. If anybody would like to subscribe to Wrestling with the 80s, you can find me over on YouTube for all your favorite 80s wrestling content. And now for my picks for the Royal Rumble 2024. On the women's side, I'm going to go with Bayley to win that match, eventually leading to the breakup of Damage Control and her facing Io at WrestleMania 40 for the women's title. Sleeper might be Jade Cargill, but I think Bayley's a pretty safe lock on that one. On the men's side, I'm thinking now that it might be CM Punk. With Cody being the last to be eliminated before Punk wins, and then Cody going on to the Elimination Chamber, winning that match, and getting to finally finish the story with Roman at WrestleMania 40, Punk facing off against Seth Rollins. That's my picks. Hope you like them, and I hope you have a great new year in 2024.
Hey, it's Katie from the She Elite Showcase. And Steve asked me, who is going to win the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble match? I think I'll have to go with the majority. Maybe if that ends up being the majority, I'm going to go Bayley. Everything with damage control right now, it kind of seems like that's the path they're going. And it very well could be her versus Io at Mania instead of what she says, her and Rhea. So my pick is Bayley, and my unofficial pick is Liv Morgan. Because once she comes back, I think she has a strong possibility of winning. And I think she's the one to dethrone Rhea. But that aside, I say Bayley is going to win the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble. And who do I think is going to win the men's 2024 Royal Rumble? I have a feeling the majority of people are going to say Punk or Cody, but I'm going to go a different path, and I think based off of his track record recently, I'm going to go LA Knight. I think it'd be interesting to see someone who hasn't been in WWE as long win it, but that's just me. So I'm gonna go LA Knight wins the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble.
The men's, I feel like for me is a lot easier. You know, as we've talked today, I think I've made up my mind on the men's. You know, that being at the time of recording this, we only have 2 entrants announced, that being CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. With CM Punk coming back, and again, it being the 10-year anniversary of the day he left WWE, I think that it would be not poetic justice, but it would be poetic in a way for him to win the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble. And for that reason, I think it's going to be CM Punk, especially, you know, he came back, he set out, he wants to main event WrestleMania. I think it's going to be him and Cody Rhodes, or him and Seth Rollins on night 1. I think, you know, Cody won last year. I don't think Cody necessarily needs to win the Rumble again to set himself up for a match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I think you have Elimination Chamber following right after, so I think Cody seems more likely to win Elimination Chamber. So for that reason, I think I'm going to pick CM Punk as the winner for the men's 2024 Royal Rumble. Now, the winner for the women's is a little bit more tricky because there's so many factors. We don't know at this point if Charlotte Flair is injured or if she's going to be cleared. You know, Bianca Belair is another top contender. You know, Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch. But, you know, I think WWE is going to have a strong start to Jade Cargill's push. And I think her debut match might be at the Royal Rumble. And I think they're going to set herself up strong on the road to WrestleMania. They're going to push her to the moon. I think it might be Jade Cargill as the winner of the women's 2024 Royal Rumble match. There's a lot of other options. But right now, you know, I think what a way to set Jade Cargill up for her first WrestleMania season by winning the match itself. That could change by the time you put this out, Steve. My pick, but I think as of right now, I think Jade Cargill would be huge.
What's up, you guys? It's your boy Marcus from the World Elite Podcast. Big shout out to Steve and the SCW Wrestling Channel. And we're here to see who's going to win the 2024 Men's and Women's Royal Rumble and go to WrestleMania 40. It's got to be big ones with a big show like this. We'll start with the women's first. Since I said big, we got to go with someone who has won it once. We call her big time. So I'm going to say Becky Lynch makes history and becomes the first woman to win 2 Royal Rumbles. I think she wins it, challenges Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. And finally, who will win the Men's Royal Rumble? I think it comes to no surprise after he made a shocking return in Chicago. I think he will finally check that off his resume. I think CM Punk wins the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble and challenges Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 40. Big shout out to Steve and the SCW Wrestling Channel. Check out the World Elite Podcast.
Massive thank you there to 1/3 of the triple threat that is the World Elite Podcast. Big thank you to you, Marcus, along with Ella J. Of course, she is a writer, an interviewer, and of course, she is a wrestling gal, along with being a media personality. Big thank you to Katie from Shalit Showcase. Shout out to BC Hunter as well with Wrestling with the 80s. A big thank you to NX Steve as always accompanying me in many videos on this channel. I appreciate your support as always, and a big thank you as well to WrestleManiac UK. He's a maniac, don't you know? Fantastic selections from everybody, but what has it done to the standings? As we can see, Bayley still tops the women's standings with first place with 10 votes. Jade Cargill, though, is catching up now in second place with 6 votes. Becky Lynch remains in third place with 3 votes. And we've got Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks still in fourth place with 1 vote each. And on the men's side, CM Punk back in top spot. Well, he was running right in that round now on 10 votes. Cody Rhodes on 5 votes in second place. Gunther remains in third place on 3 votes. LA Knight goes up to 4th place with 2 votes, and Drew McIntyre sitting in 5th place with 1 vote. 18 down, 12 to go, and we've got multiple people on some channels as well, so everything can still change and probably will. But without further ado, let's call on entry number 19.
What is up, SCW fans? Thank you so much, Steve, for having me back on the channel. 2024 WWE Royal Rumble. Who's winning? Men's, women. Easy picks for me. For the men, I'm calling it now. CM Punk, the returning CM Punk to WWE. He's going to come into the door that he kicked down 10 years ago, and he's going to win the Royal Rumble. As for the women's side of things, this is a match that can kind of go both or any way. You could have Jade Cargill come in. You can have Becky Lynch, Nia. I mean, there's so many picks. I'm going with Bayley. She's been put down way too often, way too much in 2023. 2024 is the year of the role model. Bayley and CM Punk are your 2024 WWE Royal Rumble winners.
Hey, this is Shay Sawyer from the Big Pop Theory podcast, and my picks for the men and women's Royal Rumble would be, for the women, Bayley. I think that so many things have been building towards that being the end goal, so that's why I'm going to go with that, and I think she just freaking deserves it. And for the men, I'm going to go with CM Punk. We'll see what happens.
What's up, guys? It's Evan and Javier from Crossbody of Work here with our Royal Rumble predictions for 2024. Javier, who do you got?
For the men's Royal Rumble, my prediction is that CM Punk is winning the match. For the women, I'm going to have to go with Bayley.
I also have CM Punk winning the men's match, but give me a long shot. Liv Morgan for the women's match. Very excited for the Rumble.
Hello everybody, it's Khan here from the Turnbuckle Talk Zone podcast, and I'm giving my predictions on who I think is going to win the men's and women's 2024 Royal Rumble matches. I'll start with the women's. I think it's a big match for a lot of women, but the one woman I believe will come out on top, the one woman that will go to Mania to take on Io Sky, is Bayley. I believe the storytelling's great, and the way they're going to do it, she gets edged out of the faction, or she wins it, makes them believe she's taking on Rhea, surprise, she's taking on Io Sky, she wins the belt at Mania. Now up next is the men's Royal Rumble. I think there's a lot of hype around this one because a few people could win it, but for me it's between 2 people, and that's it. 2 of the best wrestlers alive, 2 of arguably the best wrestlers of modern era. You know, if you look at the modern era, I think the 2 are the best, and them 2 men need to finish a story, and those 2 men are Akira Tozawa and R-Truth, simply the best. But jokes aside, it's CM Punk or Cody Rhodes. I think no one can debate that. I think the debate can happen between which one. I think Cody Rhodes does win it because I think Seth Rollins and CM Punk's going to happen, and I don't think you need the Rumble win. I think you can edge that in its own little storyline because they've already interacted, they've already shown clear hate for each other. That can happen without the Rumble. However, Cody Rhodes to go and take on the SmackDown champion kind of needs the Rumble due to the draft split. So, they're my picks.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Scott. I am wrestling's voice of reason for the Above the Ring Wrestling podcast. And I'd like to thank SCW, the wrestling channel, for having us on this Royal Rumble pick show today. For our picks, well, at least for mine, I would have to go for the women. I would say I would have to pick Bayley. And the reason why is I feel like there's something a little bit more going on here when it comes to damage control. And I feel like while the rest of the crew thinks they might have something up on Bayley, I feel Bayley may have the last laugh come WrestleMania. And for the men's, this one's actually tough. Before Survivor Series, I would have said LA Knight, yeah, all day long. but with a certain just gonna see what time it is. It's clobbering time, ladies and gentlemen. I pick CM Punk. He's finally gonna get his WrestleMania main event, and I'm guaranteeing it's probably gonna be against Seth Rollins, because obviously we got to finish some sort of story. Sorry, Cody. I know you'll probably get your chance at Roman somehow at WrestleMania Night 2 as well. But my picks, Bayley and CM Punk. Thanks, guys. And always, don't forget, join the Bedlam.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here, and we were lucky enough to be a part of this video. Shout out to my man SCW Steve for allowing me to be a part of this video. And today's question is, who is your men's pick and women's pick for the Royal Rumble this year? And I'm going to cheat a little. I'm going to give you my bold prediction and my guarantee for who I think is going to win. So, my guarantee that I think possibly could win the Rumble, and it's going to be my pick, it's going to be Jade Cargill. We haven't seen her make her debut. Be a great way to introduce her to WWE. My bold prediction is going to be a superstar from NXT making her debut in the Royal Rumble and the WWE ring. Let's see somebody like Cora Jade walk out and win the Women's Royal Rumble. So that's what I got for the women. And for the men, I kind of did it, and I've been kind of trying to figure out which way to go with this. But I'm going to say my guarantee pick for the Rumble for the men's, it's CM Punk, the best in the world. Coming back, winning the Rumble, 10-year anniversary of his last WWE match, finally winning it, going on to face Seth freaking Rollins at WrestleMania. But my bold prediction, Gunther loses the IC title, Gunther enters the Rumble, he wins it, and he goes on to become the WWE or World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania. So, thank you, Steve, so much for having me be a part of this video. I appreciate it so much. But guys, until next time, remember to go check out your boy Tino on Tino's Time. Remember to go check out Steve and all the other great wrestling content creators. Hope you guys enjoy the Royal Rumble. Hope you guys are enjoying the Ready to Royal Rumble Retro Series and everything else like that. But Steve, thank you again so much. And until next time, guys, enjoy it. And I'll see you guys all next time on Tino's Time.
Massive thank you to Tino's Time. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, ladies and gentlemen, is always Tino's Time is always live streaming on all things WWE and AEW. Big thank you to the voice of Reason, Scott from Above the Ring podcast. Massive thank you to Kyan as well from Turnbuckle Talk Zone, a new podcast that is available on YouTube for you now. As well as that, big thank you to Javier and Evan from Crossbody of Work, loving their content with the throwback episodes. Big thank you to Shay Sawyer, of course, for the Big Pop Bang Theory podcast, always talking things topical on the weekly wrestling world. And of course, Shay also is a part of Meta 2 with bodyslam.net, along with Katrina from In Cat We Trust. And of course, also a big thank you to Joey, the Angle podcast, media personality, does wrestling interviews and topical videos and shorts as well. All with fantastic selections, but what has it done to the scorecard? Well, looking at the men's Royal Rumble, it's a commanding lead now for CM Punk, 16 votes. Cody Rhodes the closest turnout with 6 votes, and Gunther in third place with 3 votes. On the women's side of things, Bayley is topping the list with 15 votes. Jade Cargill behind it with 7. Becky Lynch with 3 votes, and Liv Morgan has been added to the voting. So it's time for our last round of channels for you now. Will someone catch up and overtake Bayley and CM Punk to be favourites to win the Royal Rumble in 2024? There's only one way to find out, and let's kick in with entry number 25.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mr. Cincinnati, one half of the Wrestling Junkies, and we've been asked to give our picks for the 2024 Royal Rumble this year, and quite frankly, the men's pick was a bit of a no-brainer. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to go ahead and pick CM Punk to win the Royal Rumble this year. I mean, it's hard not to buy into the hype. He's coming back with one goal in mind. It's hard not to buy him as a contender, especially at going after Big Gold right there against Seth Rollins this year. That is what I think is going to be the main event of WrestleMania as well. So give me Pepsi Phil to win the whole thing in 2024. Now, on the women's side, the picture is a little bit more murkier, but I think that the cream of the crop always rises to the top. So I'm going to go ahead and say my girl Bayley wins the Royal Rumble this year. She's done an amazing job helping to elevate WWE's women's division over 2023, and I think she gets rewarded in 2024 with a Royal Rumble run and the Ultimate Showdown with what will soon be former Damage Control mate Io Sky. Without further ado, I'm going to pass along to the podcast dad. Cheers.
Hello, everyone. It is me, the podcast dad, from the Wrestling Junkies podcast on the Main Event Network, here with my Royal Rumble predictions. As for the Men's Rumble, I think you see where I stand. CM Punk has returned. He will go on to win the Royal Rumble to take on Seth Rollins for not that big golden, Eric. Not that big gold. That's the real one. But Seth Rollins, Big Gold 2.0, and they will go on to main event night 1 of WrestleMania. So for the men's, CM Punk. As for the women's, great minds think alike, Eric. I am also going to go Bayley. I think she has earned her shot to go on and win the Royal Rumble and then go on to WrestleMania and have her big WrestleMania moment. She has helped carry this women's division through the pandemic era. She has helped carry Damage Control through their weird tides and in their waters. But I will go Men's Royal Rumble CM Punk, Women's Rumble Bayley. Thanks, guys.
What's up, everybody? It's Kyle from the Apron Bump. Shout out to Steve. Shout out the SCW Wrestling channel for including me on this video. Always a pleasure hopping in here. But hey, who's going to win the Royal Rumble, huh? That's the question. That's the question everybody's answering. The Men's Rumble. Who's going to win that? Well, obviously, Von Wagner. No, it's going to be CM Punk. I mean, what do we do? Don't overthink it. It's going to be CM Punk. Cody's going to go win the Elimination Chamber. He's going to have a tougher road to WrestleMania. He's going to face Roman Reigns. Cody is. CM Punk is going to win the Rumble, challenge Seth Rollins for the world title, and he's going to get his WrestleMania main event, and is going to finish his story just as Cody will through other means other than the Rumble. The women's side, who doggy? I mean, Bayley, I guess? I don't know. She seems to be not, particularly friendly with the current WWE Women's Champion, but maybe they'll do a little Damage Control in the meantime and they'll make up, huh? Come on, we're having fun. No, Bayley's gonna win. She doesn't like Io. Also, Bayley, I think, is very bottom heavy, and I don't think you could really throw her over the...
Everybody, my name is Eleanor Wrestling and I do predictions and reviews for WWE and AEW pay-per-views on YouTube. Thank you so much to Steve for asking me to be part of this video. So here are my predictions for the 2024 WWE Royal Rumble matches. Let's start off with the women's. I think there is a huge variety of options for the women's Royal Rumble match. You've got Jade Cargill, Becky Lynch, but the person I'm going with is Bayley. Bayley has been on such a run in 2023. Has she won a lot of matches? No, but they've been telling this amazing story throughout the entire year. I mean, we've been predicting Damage Control's downfall since its inception, in theory, and now with the addition of Kairi Sane and Asuka, it feels like now more than ever, they are going to kick Bayley out of the group, and it's going to lead to one of the greatest face turns we've ever seen in WWE history. I think that is all going to start at the Royal Rumble. Bayley has already announced that she will be in the Women's Royal Rumble match, and I have no doubt that she's going to win it. Becky Lynch, I think, is a strong contender, and I do think they are going to get to Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World title at WrestleMania 40, but for the women's, I think Bayley makes the most sense. I think she will tease choosing Rhea Ripley, but I think she'll ultimately go with Io Sky, and oh my goodness, the thought of Bayley beating Io Sky at WrestleMania 40 sounds absolutely beautiful, so I'm going with Bayley for the Women's Royal Rumble. For the men's, I think it's a little bit easier because there is a very obvious answer of who it's going to be. Of course, Mr. CM Punk. He has already kind of set his eyes on Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, so I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to be CM Punk. But there are a couple other options that you could possibly give this to. Just a few months ago, before CM Punk even came back, a lot of us were considering Gunther, and I still think he's definitely up there as a possibility, but as time goes on, I just don't see him losing that IC title anytime soon, and I don't personally want him to win the Royal Rumble and be Intercontinental Champion at the same time. So I don't think he's in contention anymore, but I don't think he'll be down to the final 4. You've also got Cody Rhodes. Now, I think I'm the only person in the world that actually wants Cody Rhodes to win back-to-back Royal Rumbles, but I totally understand why it would not be the best idea. It could get Cody Rhodes booed, and you do not want him losing any momentum if he is about to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. Another possibility is maybe a member member of the Bloodline, specifically maybe Solo Sikoa if you want to go down that route. But I think those are all just guesses and just theories. I think the main option is, of course, CM Punk. I think it makes the most sense. He's never won a Rumble before in his career. It could be the huge push that he's always wanted to main at WrestleMania. Granted, it will probably be night one, but it's still a main at WrestleMania. He can choose their runs, and we can have probably one of the greatest rivalries we've ever had in WWE history. Therefore, I'm going with Bayley for the Women's Royal Rumble and CM Punk for the men's. Thank you so much to Steve for having me on this video. I really do appreciate it. Can't wait to hear everyone else's choices.
Hi, it's Liz.
And it's Jerry.
From the Irish Wrestling Podcast. And we are here to give some predictions of who we think is going to walk out as the male and female Royal Rumble winners for 2024. This is a really tough one. I mean, I know there's some really obvious choices, but we could be surprised. You never know. So, Jerry, for the male, who's your pick?
There's a couple of people who should be winning it because they've never won it before. I don't want Cody to win it. He won it last year. It'll be too predictable for him to go win it and face Roman again. It's just the same story, same story over and over again. So, gonna have to be CM Punk, isn't it? If he's facing Seth Rollins in the main event of night one in WrestleMania, so Punk.
Okay. I'm kind of siding with you as well. I kind of think it's set in stone, and that's kind of how it's going to go. That said, though, I would love to go for a wild card. Well, actually, no. Firstly, if Gunther was an Intercontinental Champion and doing an absolute stellar job with it, he was winning this year's Rumble. Make no bones about it. That's the first one. The second, complete wild card and off the grid totally. I'm not sure if MJF has signed his contract or an extension with AEW, but if he came in and won the Rumble, I actually think my soul would leave my body with delight. So it's probably going to be CM Punk, but come on, MJF. For the women, very different story. We both asked each other before we came on. I asked Jerry and I was like, who do you think it's going to be? And the one person I had in mind, he said, and I was disgusted because I like it when we disagree over stuff. But if we say it on 1, 2, 3, who do we think is going to win this year's Rumble? 1, 2, 3. Bayley. That was both of our because of course she's going to surely she's going to challenge Io, right? We've got to break up that stable because it's a no. It's a hard no. I was going to call it control damage. Damage control is just a hard no, and it needs to stop. That is one way of doing it. Definitely some appearances going to be made as well, don't we think? Don't we think there's going to be maybe a few debuts? Don't think they're going to win, but then again, anything goes in the Rumble.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the Rumble.
Before I get into this video, I want to say shout out to SCW Wrestling for allowing me to be part of this video for predictions for who I think should be winning the Royal Rumble matches for the men and women in 2024. So, I just have to get that little tidbit in there. But, who do I think is going to win the men's and the women's Royal Rumble? Well, I'm going to try to make it as quick as I can and give you a little bit of my reasoning as to why. So, we're going to start with the men's Royal Rumble. And I think I gotta go CM Punk on this one. I just think that with his return, he has definitely made some noise in the WWE, and I think he's going to want to finish his story. I know a lot of people are thinking Cody Rhodes should win, but I don't think he needs to win the Rumble to get back to Roman this time. I think he could obviously win the Elimination Chamber and then set up his rematch for part 2 between Roman and Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Universal Championship. So with that being said, I think with the story that they've been telling with CM Punk, that they're going to want him to main event one of the nights of WrestleMania. And honestly, I think he's going to main event night 1, him and Seth Rollins closing night 1 for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that would be a great way to bring him back and make a huge splash with him upon his return and get the best money out of him possible, because he's a true main eventer. Let's not get it twisted. But I gotta go CM Punk. I think it's just the time is right. He deserves this win. He has definitely worked his butt off since coming back to the company. So I gotta go CM Punk. For the women's, now I know a lot of people have been saying Becky or Jade Cargill. I wouldn't be upset if that were to happen, but I just don't think it needs to happen. My personal pick to win the Women's Royal Rumble is a returning Liv Morgan. The reason why I think Liv Morgan should win is because if you look at the history that we've had with the Women's Royal Rumbles, everybody has been looked dominant and have been dominant people to win the Rumble. Charlotte, she was dominant. Becky was dominant. Asuka was dominant. Ronda was dominant. Bianca was new, but she was dominant in the sense. And then we had Rhea Ripley. She was also dominant as well. We've never really had a true underdog babyface be able to win the Rumble. And I think if there's anybody that can do it, it is Liv Morgan. And I feel like she has the best chance to win because of the history between her and Rhea Ripley. Going back to everything that has taken place since WrestleMania 38 up until this point, from the breakup to the injury to them being the first and the last in the Women's Royal Rumble. I think the history is just there, the story is there, and I think it could be a way to make a new star in Liv Morgan. And I think when it's all said and done, she is going to be the one walking away with the W at the Royal Rumble. So those are my picks to win the men's and the women's Royal Rumble.
So much, Steve, for allowing me to participate in this video. This is Scott Retro Wrestling here. My predictions for this year's Royal Rumbles. With the women, I'm going to go with Bayley. I think it just fits storyline wise. Yeah, you can get Becky and Rhea down the line, but I think the Bayley storyline with Damage Control, they're teasing she's going for the world title. But what if they did a tribute to a certain storyline? She's away to pick the world title, and then she does that and picks Io. That's what I want. The men's, it changed as soon as a certain superstar returned in November. I'm going to go with CM Punk, but my prediction is I would love CM Punk to win from 27. Similar to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Great selections there. Big thank you to Scott Retro Wrestling, doing reviews of retro content so you don't have to. Big thank you to Kicking It with Leo. Big thank you to Irish Wrestling Entertainment. Big thank you to Eleanor Wrestling. Massive thank you also to the Apron Bump. And a big thank you as well to the Wrestling Junkies podcast, the dynamic duo doing podcasts, interviews, topical wrestling, and much, much more. As you can see then, let's go to the final standings, and it's no surprise that for the Women's Royal Rumble, YouTube has chosen Bayley with 22 votes. Jade Cargill, the closest rival, with 7 votes in second place. And for the men, CM Punk is the choice with 23 votes. Cody Rhodes in second place with only 6 votes. It looks like Cody will not be finishing the story via the Royal Rumble, and CM Punk could be going to WrestleMania to take on Seth Rollins via the Royal Rumble. So there you have it. Bayley and CM Punk are the choices for the Royal Rumble this year. Has Wrestling YouTube got it correct? Let us know in the comments below right now. Who are your picks to win the men's and women's Royal Rumbles in 2024? To give my quick conclusion for what I've seen, I'm not surprised by the choices made by everybody, but I am surprised how much of a landslide it was. I thought that Jade would be closer. I thought Becky would get more votes as well on the women's side, Liv Morgan as well, and on the men's side, CM Punk looks definitive to win. Cody, I thought, would be much closer in the voting than he actually was. And no votes at all for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Of course, he's now come back on day one of WWE, potentially wanting to sit at the head of the table, although some of these videos were recorded in December, so I'm wondering if maybe some of them would change the pick now, knowing potentially we could be getting Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania 40. But as I say, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure to like it, share with a friend, and subscribe as well to this channel, and also subscribe to every other channel as well that's involved on this video. All the links to all the channels are in the description of this video, and a big thank you to everyone who took part once again. Honestly, without you, this video would not have been possible, and there was some great work amongst all those creators here in the YouTube community. But that's all from me right now. Like I say, go in the description of this video, support everybody in the YouTube community that's been involved in this video, and if you want to see more from this channel, check out the side of your screen right now. We're keeping up for more Royal Rumble content as we get closer to this year's event. Thanks for watching. Look after yourselves. I'll see you next time here on YouTube.